Можно потеряться в пространстве и не увидеть где. Можно потеряться во времени и не понять когда. Гораздо легче потеряться в технологиях и не узнать ничего. Если подумать, то все мы находимся в лабиринте. Мы вынуждены каждый день принимать сотни решений, из которых складывается наш путь. Например, вот. Вы решили посмотреть направо или налево? В любом случае вы сделали выбор. С каждым новым шагом количество путей, по которым можно идти в лабиринте, растет в прогрессии. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. И так каждый наш день превращается во взрывную волну принятых решений. А самое интересное заключается в том, что мы ищем путь в лабиринте, которого на самом деле не существует. И поэтому найти выход еще сложнее. Может показаться, что это невозможно, но это не так. Как звучал наш труд 20 лет назад? Как он звучит сейчас? Тишина. Оглушающая тишина. Как найти выход из тишины?
Вот результаты поиска по запросу «Как найти выход».
Хорошо, что мы не одни в лабиринте, который сами создали. Мы теперь это не только мы. Есть два тебя. Ты и цифровой ты. Есть реальный мир и есть цифровой. Реальный и цифровой. Реальный, цифровой, реальный, цифровой, реальный, цифровой, реальный, цифровой, реальный, цифровой, реальный, цифровой.
Как вы поняли, мир вокруг нас, он реален. И вместе с этим у всего есть цифровой двойник. И нельзя делить его, потому что цифровой двойник тоже реальный. Это часть действительности, в которой мы с вами живем. Ну, вы живете, а я существую.
И лабиринт. Если у него есть цифровая копия, значит можно просчитать ее и за доли секунд найти правильный путь.
Маршрут найден.
Вперед! Добро пожаловать на IT Solutions Summit MERLION 2018.
Дамы и господа, встречайте модератора нашего мероприятия. Главный редактор интернет-портала и аналитического агентства TEDvisor Александр Левашов.
Доброе утро всем реальным и цифровым участникам саммита. В том числе моему соведущему, уважаемому искусственному интеллекту.
Доброе утро, коллега.
Действительно, поиск решений в нашей реальности — это непростая задача. Ведь можно пойти одним путем, а можно другим. В любом случае, принимая важные решения, необходимо видеть перспективу. Поскольку, покидая один лабиринт, мы попадаем в другой. В мире высоких технологий компасом, навигатором, задающим основные тренды, служат ведущие IT-корпорации. А роль Ариадны, проводящей нас сквозь узкие места IT-проектов, выполняют системные интеграторы. Таким образом, на саммите у нас есть все необходимое, чтобы не потеряться в мире высоких технологий и проложить верный маршрут для бизнеса.
Дамы и господа, предлагаю начать прокладывать маршрут. Пришло время официально открыть MERLION IT Solutions Summit 2018. Встречайте, Алексей Абрамов, председатель совета директоров MERLION.
Аплодисменты. Алексей Абрамов.
Спасибо. Вы знаете, когда выходишь, думаешь, ты такой худой, высокий, у тебя черная водолазка здесь, и тебя зовут Стив Джобс. Допустим, там, и ты вышел и все. Такие. А в жизни, ну, как-то невысокий, чтобы не ругать себя, скажу, не очень худой, и уж точно совершенно не Стив Джобс, да? Вот, поэтому мне кажется, что заводить вас идеями новых технологий, вас, которые эти технологии делают, это совершенно бессмысленно, да? Потому что мы все это делаем просто вот, ну, потихоньку вот стучим каждый день, да, там это, и потихоньку получается. Поэтому, ну, раз я не Стив Джобс, простите, да, можно я присяду. Что я хотел сказать? Огромное спасибо всем вам, что вы собрались послушать про что-то новое там. И мы стараемся, на самом деле мы стараемся доказать, что это возможно. В наших очень непростых условиях мы пытаемся привнести что-то новое, там, китайское, не китайское, такое, сякое. Там, знаете, как рыба, которая выбросилась на сушу, она бьется не потому, что она знает, куда она бьется, а просто надо что-то делать. Мы бьемся, и вы бьетесь вместе с нами. И мы стараемся расширять наши компетенции, и мы это делаем. Но я знаю, как обычно, человек приехал на конференцию и говорит там, а с кем общаться? Ну вот, с кем договариваться-то? Ну, я приехал, ни с кем не познакомился. Давайте я выведу на сцену нашего директора дивизиона, value add дистрибуции, то, что называется. Но для нас это огромный кусок бизнеса, Игорь Солнцев.
Аплодисменты, Игорь Солнцев.
Это не для того, чтобы он отобрал у меня микрофон, а просто потому что, а с кем общаться, да? У Игоря Солнцева 11 прямых подчиненных. Я хочу, чтобы они все вышли и показались вам. Это называется «С кем общаться». Как делать бизнес? Ой, такие люди сидят. Простите, да, мне захотелось встать. Игорь, вытаскивай своих прямых подчиненных на сцену, потому что люди должны знать, с кем общаться.
Да, спасибо, Алексей Петрович. Доброе утро, коллеги. Сейчас дождемся, должны выйти, видимо, все 7. Давайте я, чтобы не затягивать мероприятие открытия, скажу пару слов о цели, зачем мы все это делаем. Значит, MERLION, как один из ведущих дистрибуторов, каждый год участвует в достаточно большом количестве мероприятий, которые проводят наши вендоры. И примерно уже лет 8 нам с той или иной степенью чистоты говорят: ребята, если вы хотите остаться на этом рынке, вы должны поменять свою модель дистрибуции. Причем вы должны поменяться не только сами, но и поменять модель бизнеса ваших партнеров или объяснить им, что нужно изменить. И где-то примерно 3 года назад мы наконец-то поняли, что от нас хотят. Мы сказали: окей, ребята, в смысле нашим вендорам, мы готовы меняться, но о том, как нужно измениться партнерам, пожалуйста, расскажите сами. И к нашей большой радости большинство наших вендоров согласилось поучаствовать в такого рода мероприятиях. И не только согласилась, но и отправила сюда свои самые лучшие силы. Вы увидите это и услышите на киноутах, можете посмотреть в демо-зоне, в лабораториях, которые у нас здесь, и в экспо-зоне все достижения наших вендоров о том, каким образом найти выход из лабиринта. Поэтому мы поменялись. Об этом вы тоже можете узнать на нашей сессии и в экспо-зоне. И предлагаем вам поменяться вместе с нами. Желаю вам на этом мероприятии хороших бизнес-встреч, хорошего настроения и приятных собеседников. Спасибо большое, что вы с нами.
И я еще раз повторяю, да, вот с кем разговаривать, да? Вот они. Вот вцепляйтесь, вот, я не знаю, там, вот ворот рубашки, да, и тащите его туда, где он вам даст те самые условия, которых вы добивались до этого, да. И вот все остальные то же самое могут сделать. Давайте, поехали.
Спасибо.
Алексей, Игорь, спасибо за напутствие. Давайте перейдем к докладам. Сегодня вы собрали для нас действительно лучших представителей индустрии, и я с нетерпением жду их выступлений. Давайте приступим. Коллега?
Мы все хотим, чтобы завтрашний день был лучше. Технологии способны на это. Поговорим о том, как добавить смарт к нашей работе. Дамы и господа, встречайте! Вице-президент IBM Global Business Partner Europe Диего Сегре.
А я напомню, что IBM является многократным мировым рекордсменом по количеству патентуемых технологий и обладает в общей сложности более 100 тысячами патентов. Более 8,5 тысяч исследователей, инженеров и ученых IBM в разных штатах США и странах мира удостоены патентов на передовые технологии. Таким образом, IBM можно считать одним из самых интеллектуальных и авторитетных IT-корпораций, а ее взгляд действительно визионерским. Я должен заметить, что Диего выступает на MERLION IT Solutions Summit уже второй раз, так что можно назвать его выступление традиционным. Диего, пожалуйста.
If I would have to shout throughout the day, it would have been a long day. So thank you for fixing it. And I don't have a clue on what he said to introduce me. I hope it was nice things, but in any case, I apologize for not speaking Russian, which I think it would have been a lot more comfortable to you all, but it is what it is. So I'm very, very happy to be here today. I wanted to thank the MERLION team for inviting me, actually for the second year in a row. Last year when we had the first version of this event, I participated and I enjoyed interacting with you all, so I'm very, very happy to be here again. I'm happy to see that MERLION still, has the ability to have a room with standing people. By the way, it's going to be a little tiring, so if you want to, there are a few seats empty throughout the place, so if you want to walk and sit, you will be a lot more comfortable. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the market from our perspective, and then how is IBM trying to address all those challenges that our mutual customer have, but then talk about how we can build this tomorrow together, which is what we are here for. We are here for serving our customers and helping them address their challenges and get their business going and doing it together. So I'm of course more than happy to share an overview. As you know, in this little time I cannot do a lot more than an overview, but of course the intent here is that we get our joint business going and we get our relationship expanded to new places throughout further conversations. So hopefully this conversation will serve as an opener for the rest that is there to come. And of course, I'm more than happy to connect with you all and interact through email or social media or whatever. It's the best, most convenient method for everyone. Getting into what's going on in the market. We know that everybody talks about digital transformation, everybody talks about data being the new natural resource, the most valuable resource. In fact, not everybody is talking about the fact that ecosystems is the new way of moving. And let me make an analogy here, but more than 100 years ago, Ford Motor Company, which was the first mass manufacturer of cars, had their own rubber plantations in Brazil, where they basically harvested the rubber that then became a tire, right? As economy evolved, as trade evolved, technology evolved, Ford Motor Company started to outsource to other companies pieces, manufacturing of parts and different processes. So, and now, it's just an assembly line where many vendors participate and collaborate in what is seen as an ecosystem. So that same thing is happening into the IT market. Thanks to the standards, thanks to the cloud, thanks to the proliferation of broadband, and of course, thanks to the evolution of technology, everything is becoming an ecosystem. So in the past, a bank needed to buy a lot of hardware, buy a lot of software, develop a lot of applications, run them, do everything inside the house. But as technology evolves, they start to outsource some of those business processes in pieces and assemble them to build a service, to their customers. And that's happening in every industry. When I joined IBM many, many years ago, the security guard in the front of the IBM building was an IBM employee. Okay? That's kind of silly now, but that's the way it was. And of course, now it's an outsourced service to a security specialized company that does it cheaper and better, right? So that fact that everything is becoming an ecosystem, everybody is buying from everybody, is happening also to us. It's not anymore us building a whole solution to our customers and making it work in an integrated way. It's about delivering microservices here and there that are being assembled to compose a business process. And that's happening in the economy, and that's happening in the business, and that's creating a new emerging type of competition. In the past, if you are a retailer, you compete with other retailer. If you're a bank, you compete with another bank. If you're an insurance company, you compete with another insurance. Today, a retailer sells insurance to the goods that they sell, right? An airline sells hotel rooms. And, everybody competes with Google and everybody competes with Amazon because they sell everything, right? So competition does not come anymore from your traditional competitors. All the industries are converging and everybody's being able to offer everything. Why? Because of the cloud, because of data, and because of the way we manage to make everything secure to operate in business. So it's a huge transformation that is happening in the market. All your customers are either suffering from it or enjoying it. So they are disrupting their markets and creating opportunities beyond their boundaries, or they are being disrupted by those new entries and having their business suffer. So no matter which side your customer is in, they need our help. So I hopefully will try to explain the next 20 minutes or so what is it that we can do for them to help them compete in their markets and become disruptors instead of being disrupted. Okay? There are 4 things that are tools that technology is providing to those businesses that are helping them become disruptors. And of course, this is a model, but these are the core key themes that we need to think about. The first one is the cloud. In the past, again, you needed to build stuff in order to be able to deliver an IT capacity. Today, you can subscribe to it. You can pay for what you use in a service environment, and you don't need to spend a lot of money and a lot of time up front to have an IT capacity. So 2 guys in the Starbucks next door can have access to the same computing capacity than the largest company in the country. Because it's there, it's public, it's in the cloud, it's on consumption base. That's disrupting everything, okay? That's taking IT to a new boundary. But the cloud by itself doesn't provide a lot of value. You need data. You need data to turn that data into insights, and that insight into better decisions for your business. So the way you store, the way you manage, and the way you extract intelligence from that data is a competitive differentiator, and you need technology to do that. But once you have the right data to make the right analysis, you have to combine that data with the publicly available data in the internet, in the social networks, in the newspapers, in the dark web for the hackers, all the publicly available data, and make that become an intelligent system. Once you have your own data combined with the external data, you can have better intelligence to run your business, and of course, technology can enable that. And last, all of that would not happen if you don't have the right security to make it happen. So, of course, I'm from IBM. My job is to tell you that IBM can do all these a lot better than anybody else, and it's true. Of course, I'm not going to be able to prove it today, but I hope you give us the chance to prove it to you over the next weeks and months, and we'll do it together. So when it comes to cloud, IBM Cloud is the cloud for the enterprise. We know there are many other cloud offerings out there, and we like them all, but the fact is that they are based on, retail, individual, or small offices, and the cloud for the enterprise is the IBM Cloud, because we can combine the on-premise capacity with the hybrid or private cloud that you can deliver to your customers with our public cloud offerings in a seamless way, in an integrated way. Nobody else can do that. And of course, our cloud is built for AI and built for security from scratch. And it's an afterthought in most of the other options. So our cloud is the cloud for the enterprise, and it's much better than anybody else. When we go to data, well, we invented the relational database. We invented the storage system. They rule the business. So this technology is what we master. We know how to store, we know how to secure, and we know how to make available the data for the business. And we do it better than anybody else. And we have new offerings to combine the data that is available on your premises, in your systems, the transactional data, with the unstructured data from the internet and from mail documents, archives, and from Word documents and whatever media format, video, pictures. We can analyze data today that we couldn't do in the past, thanks to the tools we are putting out there in the market. And then again, the step beyond data is artificial intelligence. Once you have data, you should be able to leverage the artificial intelligence systems to get that intelligence out of the data. And in the past, artificial intelligence exists for a couple of decades. What is the breakthrough, the great difference that IBM has put into the market is to make it available for zero incremental cost. Because we have exposed our artificial intelligence APIs in the IBM Cloud, and anyone can access any artificial intelligence tool, whether it's IoT or blockchain or image recognition or tone analysis or video analysis or media tagging, whatever you want to do that requires artificial intelligence, you can do it by calling an API and only paying for what you consume. You don't need to build a huge system to train them, to have it learn. You can use our artificial intelligence solutions in the cloud. But of course, if you need to analyze your on-premise transactional data or video data or any kind of data, you can do it with our Power AI machines that can do artificial intelligence on-premise better than anybody else. And last, as I was saying, you need to ensure all of this is secure. Because if it is not, you're not going to get the trust from your customers, you're going to lose a lot of money, you're not going to be able to enable all this to happen. And IBM not only provides the best tools individually to secure the data, to secure the applications, to secure the transactions, to secure the network, but also provides the layer of security intelligence that allows you to dissect which is the security incident that is generating a problem in each one of the things where it is propagating. So you have a security intelligence framework that can help you secure the whole infrastructure without having to do root cause analysis in each one of the pieces. More than that, we have systems that are encrypted from the scratch for everything they do. You know, our mainframe, our Z14 offering is just encryption end-to-end for everything without any extra effort from anyone. And it's clear that we can deliver that pervasive security throughout the whole enterprise. So in summary, we believe IBM can deliver to your customers the power of cognitive computing, artificial intelligence, on a cloud platform, securely, and through an industry dimension. Now, IBM cannot do it alone. We know the security, we know the products, we know the solutions. We've been innovating and researching and developing tools, but we are missing the customer intimacy. We are missing the additional pieces that need to be put together. We are missing the proximity services that only you can deliver. So all of this is very beautiful, but it will not get anywhere without our ecosystem of business partners that need to work together to deliver these solutions. Okay? Now, is this happening? The answer is yes. And I will put here a few examples, and all of these examples, I picked them from, let's call it this region, this set of countries. I guess you are as tired as I am from getting examples from the US or the UK or places where, yeah, that's right, but we don't do it here. All these examples are, there is one from Russia, the others from nearby countries, let's put it that way. The first one, IBS Platformex is one of our partners here, and they are specialized in data, and they use our technology to improve Rosbank's compliance and regulatory compliance through the data. They managed to build a solution that can trace the data from its creation throughout the life cycle of any data point and ensure they can deliver to the regulators or to the compliance units in the bank who touched it, who viewed it, who changed it, who stored it, who deleted it. So a whole end-to-end life cycle of any data point to comply with all the regulations of the Russian Central Bank and the European Bank and the worldwide regulations. Again, an example from Russia, from a Russian business partner that is leveraging our technology and their own knowledge to build a modern solution to Rosbank. Second example here, Indiviso. It's a partner that was delivering HR solutions to the Hungarian market. Suddenly, they found out that they can use the artificial intelligence APIs from IBM to improve the selection process. So they can go through the interviews, the video recording of the interviews with the candidates, combine that with the resume, combine that with social media activity and public activity from that candidate, and analyze all that immense amount of data to recommend the ideal candidate to their customer. Isn't that beautiful? Great productivity tool by a small HR-focused partner in Hungary. Next example here, Tuatara. That's a partner in Poland. And we have Alior Bank, who is a traditional bank in Poland that they needed to start nurturing their solution with startups. So they created an accelerator for startups, and they needed to provide them with the technology. So Tuatara is one of our partners in Poland, and they built an API catalog and an API solution. So they exposed the services from Alior Bank to the fintechs that were participating in that startup, so they can subscribe to the APIs and start innovating in the banking environment. And you can do that because you have the best API management tools from IBM combined with the best knowledge of both the Alior Bank infrastructure and the startup scene in Poland. And last, Creating. This is a small software house in Slovenia. They were doing websites for their customers, and they couldn't scale. They just, did everything by themselves. They found our e-commerce technology. They found their knowledge about how to do e-business in Slovenia. They put everything together, and suddenly they became a powerhouse that now can sell into the large companies because they have the solidity of the IBM backbone with their front end and their knowledge of the customer. So all what I was describing before is already happening in this part of the world, and many of you and your partners and your competitors are already doing it. So we are on the right track. Now, we need to understand a little more what's happening, and I will go back to that thought that everything is becoming an ecosystem. We are evolving in the way we interact with each other. In the past, things were easy. We had a vendor like IBM, we had a distributor like MERLION, we had a partner like anyone here in this room, we had a customer, and we had a supply chain that was a little bit kind of a straight line, and everything worked fine. And by the way, that model continues to work and continues to work very well. But more and more, we are seeing emerging business models that customers are adopting and are growing much faster than the traditional business model. So we all need to understand this transformation, because if you still didn't do it, it will come to you. So you better be prepared. So where is all this transformation starting? It's all starting by the fact that customers, not all customers want to own assets, IT assets anymore. In the past, there was no choice. You needed to buy the hardware, you needed to buy the software, you needed to build or to buy the applications, and you own the assets. Today, you can get the services delivered as a service to you by people like yourselves, right? Or your competitors. So if you don't become a service provider, you take a risk of missing that as a service market. And that as a service market, you have to trust me on this one, is growing much faster than the traditional asset-based market. So everybody here, and that's my challenge to you, needs to become a service provider. What do I mean by a next generation service provider? A company that can combine three things. And I'm sure most of you can identify yourself with either one or two or the three things that I'm going to talk about. The first one is the ability to sell products. Of course, if you're here, it's because you're good at selling IT products, right? That's what mostly everybody does. But that's not enough. You need to have a service delivery capability and be able to provide additional value-added services to the products that you sell. And that's, again, most of you have it. Now, the third leg of this stool is your own assets, your own intellectual property. You need to develop your own products. And if you implemented a similar solution a few times, I'm sure you can extract that knowledge from those implementations and make them become an asset, make them become a solution. So if you combine the three things in a certain way, you can become a next-generation service provider, and you can deliver your solutions as a service, which is what your customers are demanding more and more. Again, is the traditional reselling mechanism going away? No. But it's not growing. This is growing. So as soon as you become a service provider, you can continue doing the traditional business, because if a customer wants to buy hardware from you, of course we're going to sell it. But for the customers that want to get a service from you, you're able to deliver your solution as a service in a differentiated way. Okay? So my recommendation to you, everybody should become a next-generation service provider. Now, that brings some challenges. How do I make money? Right? In the past, it was easy, right? I put a margin to the things I sell, I put a profit to the services I deliver, and I make money. That's easy. Customers have a big budget up front, they do an RFP, you win the RFP, you collect the money, you're happy. Well, in this as-a-service world, things don't work that way. Customers want to pay for what they consume. So you have to invest money up front, and then maybe you collect, right? So it's different to make money in the as-a-service economy. It's not the same thing as it was in the past. Now, how do you make money in the as-a-service economy? The first one, you can build your solutions on a public cloud, like the IBM cloud, of course, and you can monetize, and you can pay only for what you consume. So instead of investing up front, the customer investing up front, or you investing up front to deliver it to the customer, you can build your solutions on the IBM cloud. And we have hundreds and thousands of ISPs and solutions providers building their solutions in the IBM cloud. That's the first way, building on the IBM cloud, delivering as a service. Second way to make money in the as-a-service economy is build your own solutions with your own assets and deliver them as a service using the IBM portfolio. So if you're going to develop an application, you're going to develop a service, I don't care if it is, if you are closer to be an ISV or closer to be a service provider, whether it's an infrastructure-related service or a business-related service, you can accelerate the construction of that solution by using our standard pieces, our hardware, our software, and our as-a-service offerings. And you assemble them, you put our artificial intelligence into it, you put our database, whatever, and you build your solution. So we can embed our technology into your solution and make it faster, cheaper, and more reliable. That's the second way of making money in the as-a-service economy. The third way of making money in the as-a-service economy is resell our as-a-service offerings. As much as you can build your own offerings and sell them as a service, we have a whole set of as-a-service offerings that you can take to market with us and get this traditional margin, but on as a service instead of on upfront investment in hardware or software. And the fourth thing you need to think here, it's all about expanding. As I was mentioning at the beginning, customers don't want to commit up front. They don't have the huge budgets anymore. They want to try and expand. They land the solution, they buy a pilot, a phase 0, and then when it's successful, they build on it. So you need to ensure that you change your business model to be able to sell those small projects with a minimum viable solution that then expands and builds on itself. So that's the 4 things you need to do to make money in the as-a-service economy. And these are the things we are doing from IBM to help you. Okay? We are improving our partner program to evolve from traditional reselling into these new embedded technologies, these new self-service digital marketplaces. By the way, yesterday, the MERLION team here announced MERLION Cloud. That's a great example of an improved partner program. IBM is part of that MERLION Cloud. You can go to the MERLION Cloud and buy some of our digital offerings and improve the way you get IBM into your solutions. But not only that, of course, create that notion of ecosystem, help you partner with each other, help you build solutions based on our portfolio, ensure that we educate you on how to leverage our assets. And last, of course, we still need to do things to the partner program and improve the way we help you make money with us. And I will close with that. We've been claiming that our partner program is the best in the industry. And I have to say, I have to confess, that probably every vendor that stands up here will do the same, right? And we weren't quite sure if that was just us being, self-confident or it was the truth. So we went to the external world and we went to Canalys. Canalys is the consulting firm that is specialized in the ecosystem, in business partners, in resellers. And we asked them, take the 3 biggest offering categories, as a service, software, and hardware, take the biggest 3 vendors in that category and ask the partners of all 3 vendors, who is the vendor that is giving them more money, okay? And I'm happy to report that Canalys, an external party, confirms the fact that we have the best channel program in the industry and that our partners can make more money in any one of the segments compared to the second and third largest competitor we have. So not only we have the best portfolio of solutions, we have the best way to partner with you, but we also have the most profitable channel program. Okay? So I will finish here with a thought. I talked about building tomorrow together. So I give you the challenge to think, what are you building? This is not about reselling anymore. This is about building. So what are you building? Where will you be tomorrow? Again, I'm sure you're a very successful company today. It might not be the place that will make you successful tomorrow. So think where you want to be tomorrow. And of course, I'm here to tell you that we can take that journey together. And I hope that after this conversation, we are going to engage and we are going to help each other build tomorrow together. Thank you.
Спасибо большое, Диего, за очень интересный доклад. Я прошу представить нашего следующего спикера. Давайте пойдем дальше.
Все устройства связаны друг с другом. Цифровые платформы оснащены возможностями технологии искусственного интеллекта. Представьте мир, в котором инновационные решения меняют к лучшему жизнь каждого человека, семьи и организации. Дамы и господа, встречайте! Директор по IT-решениям Huawei Enterprises USA Фрэнсис Лэм.
Я прошу обратить внимание участников саммита на биографию Фрэнсиса. Наш сегодняшний спикер обладает более чем 20-летним опытом работы в крупнейших IT-корпорациях мира, агрегирует разнообразнейший опыт международной деятельности. Мне кажется, этот опыт может быть весьма полезным всем присутствующим. Пожалуйста.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank MERLION for such a wonderful event and this opportunity for me to share with you Huawei's intelligent IT strategy, our solutions, and how we can help you and your customers to accelerate your digital transformation effort. Huawei is a global leader in information and communication technologies. We operate over 170 countries around the world, serve 1/3 of the world's population. Huawei is a substantial company, and we have over 180,000 employees globally. And in the past couple of decades, we have diversified into offering a very broad portfolio of ICT solutions. We take pride in our capability to innovate. Consistently, we break new ground, get into new areas, and we contribute to the advancement of the industry as a whole. And we spend a lot of our resources in R&D, as you can demonstrate in the percentage of our employee in the capacity of engineering. We built R&D centers around the world, including locally in Russia, hiring the best talent and help build a strong technology pipeline to meet the needs of ICT in the future. In 2017, Huawei's total revenue exceeded $92 billion. We are now the world's #1 telecom infrastructure solution providers. Our smartphone ranked #2 globally, and our IT solutions for enterprise data centers are the fastest growing, and many of our product category now rank among the top 3 in the world. To begin with, let's take a look at the big picture, where we're coming from and where we're heading to, and how Huawei can contribute. There are many IT companies around the world, and what does Huawei bring to the table that is unique, different, and can help you and your customers do a better job? We talk a lot about digital transformation. I would like to use Huawei ourselves as an example and how we handle this effort in terms of meeting the future business and technology needs. Our entire organization's top to bottom, end to end, has been fully digitized. Our business system tightly integrated. We extract the data, we automate it with artificial intelligence. For example, in our R&D, our entire R&D operations now run on cloud. That is what we need to maximize the efficiency, the flexibility, so that we can get the maximum return on investment in our significant R&D investment. Empowered by deep integration of our IT processes and systems, our employees can maximize their efficiency and the customer experience that we can deliver to you and your clients. In this road to digital transformation, what type of experience you and your customers need to have? And we summarize that into what we call roles, right? Real-time, on-demand, all online, DIY, and social. And a perfect example is the V-Link unified office tools that we have running on all of our mobile devices and all of our laptops. You can ask any one of our employees to demonstrate this to you and how we can handle majority of our critical workflow and business needs on such an integrated environment. We apply artificial intelligence, to automate our data analysis, help us speed and make our business decision more precise and more promptly. And more importantly, to make ourselves and our customer more successful, it's critically important for us to build a comprehensive set of ecosystems. So we invest heavily into and contribute heavily into industrial and commercial alliances. We invest heavily in open source and developer communities of different kinds. So that is how we approach the subject of digital transformation. In order to make this all work, we have begun to realize that the underlying ICT infrastructures is going through some fundamental changes. We can no longer meet the needs by simply fine-tuning and incrementally improve on some of the basic technology and solutions. We increasingly see a need that we are evolving into a future where all things are sensing. There are data collecting from a variety of sources in massive scale. We need to analyze them in real time and intelligently. We've begun to realize that we need to change the type of system that we deliver from hardware in terms of the form factor and where do you deploy the compute capacity, as well as the software architecture associated with it. We develop the solutions that can help you deploy and make this work, no matter they are being deployed in your on-premise enterprise data center, in the cloud, or in the edge. Huawei has this singular vision to bring digital to every person, home, organization, for a fully connected and intelligent world. And in doing so, we need an architectural level innovation, not just doing the same thing faster and better, but we need to have some fundamental change in terms of how we organize our infrastructure. Probably Huawei is one of the very few ICT leader in the world that can enable you to build the entire stack top to bottom, from the devices for consumer and businesses to the pipe, the new pipe that can handle that kind of massive data, as well as in the cloud. Right? All the new developments, all the new services are being deployed on the cloud, and Huawei is one of the few companies that can do that. In order to make this work effectively, significant investment needs to happen in chip level, in the algorithm, as well as in the architecture. Huawei as a company, we even organize our company to fit this architecture. We have a dedicated consumer business unit that is focusing on building the best smart devices for consumer use as well as for businesses. And we have a dedicated carrier business unit that aims to serve our telco and service provider customers to build out this new pipe that massive data is being transacted and need to be analyzed on. Our enterprise business group, as well as our newly formed Cloud BU, work hand in hand to help you and your customer build cloud in your on-premise data center, as well as take advantage of what's being available on public cloud. And on top of it, we have different industry-centric organizations that help to build these technologies and deliver turnkey solutions for different type of businesses, different type of industry verticals to help you speed your road to digital transformation. So what does Huawei do? What are the challenges and how we are going to solve it by shifting into this new paradigm? Huawei has been developing IT technology as an integral part of our telecom infrastructure solutions for decades. But it has only been 2011 when we offered this externally to our partner and our end user customers, geographically diversify, into, internationally, as well as in different type of industry and commercial segments. Since then, we have grown exponentially. I'm not going to go through all the examples of the type of solutions and products and technology that we developed, but you can see that over this past 6-7 years, we have grown from scratch into a substantial ICT solution providers. Today, the new focus is obviously on the cloud, no matter it is in your a private cloud for on-premise deployment, as well as on public cloud. To make this all work, we have built a complete cloud stack, starting from the basic hardware infrastructures, your compute, your storage, your networking, and on top of it, an end-to-end software stack from Cloud OS to your data platform to the PaaS that can help you develop cloud-native applications that you can run equally well on our public cloud property as well as in the private cloud. And on top of it, we built the ecosystem with partners, with our industry vertical focus efforts to turn this into real-life solutions that can help you serve your customer better. Because of the fundamental change in how technology works, the scale, the type of new services that is being deployed are very different from it used to be. There is a lot of opportunity for us to build this solution better. And a lot of this has to happen with chip-level innovation. So in addition to building boxes and software, we invest significant effort in building semiconductor devices in terms of how we manage the systems, in terms of how we aggregate these different compute and storage components together. Some of the examples, such as our interconnect chip that can help us build a very high-end, very large memory, Kunlun-class mission-critical systems, SSD controller chip that we use to build an all-flash systems that deliver very unique performance characteristics and capability. As we go forward, and later on in my presentation, I will give you some examples on how we can take advantage of it. And on top of it, we need newer type of architecture, and I will talk a little bit more about it, and to make it work better for a cloud environment, no matter it is public, private, or hybrid. And on top of it, our storage platform, our Fusion Insight big data software technology, as well as our Fusion Stage, which is our platform as a service environment, that are all integrated into a end-to-end cloud stack. We are one of the very few companies that not only able to offer an end-to-end cloud stack that we can provide you and your customers and work with you to build a turnkey cloud solutions, but we use them ourselves in our public cloud property, as I can give you a little bit more details later. And on top of this stack, we are able to work with different type of customers, different type of partners, and build turnkey solutions. It is very important for us to be able to work with industry-leading partners, channel partners, ISV partners, other technology partners, because we are building something new, bigger, and better. Whether it is financial service solutions, SAP Cloud, high-performance CAE as an examples. Let me take automotive manufacturing as an example. Today, majority of the big brand name European automotive manufacturers now run their high-performance CAE on Huawei hardware. As we continue to build momentum in that area, we work with our system integration and ISV partner to build better solutions together. Start from simple validation and certification of our joint solutions, pursue deeper level of performance tuning, and jointly develop better solutions for the future. We also work with them and migrate their solutions onto Huawei's public cloud property. So, that is one example that show you how we approach partnership and how we build ecosystem together. In addition, we recognize that open source technology are very important for cloud and for the future generations of ITC solutions, so we invest heavily and contribute significantly to a broad range of open source community, OpenStack, Hadoop, Kubernetes, just to name a few. So we continue to be among the top and continue to ramp up our contribution and investment across a broad spectrum of open source community. Because of all this, we have been able to demonstrate our growth and at the same time consistently sustain a very high level of R&D investment. That is critically important to sustain that kind of innovations, be a reliable partner, not only for today, but for the future. In addition to our product development organizations, we have dozens of R&D centers around the world, and more so in what we call Open Lab, is for working with industry partners and sometimes even customers. Work with them so that we can build the right solutions at the right time. We work with top universities around the world to make sure that we are on the latest and greatest research and give us a head start and help build a strong technology pipeline as we move forward. So in the short few years, we have grown nicely. Our server product now ranked among the top. Our storage product by far is the fastest growing storage product in the world. Many of our high-level solutions, such as big data and cloud, are being ranked by industry visionaries as among the top in terms of its overall capability. So what exactly do we offer? What exactly do we build? How do we execute on such a vision? From an IT product perspective, I think we can kind of look at it from 3 different levels. On the most fundamental infrastructure level, we offer data center infrastructures, the power, the cooling, the data center modules, containerized data centers. Many of these products rank among the top in the world. Our main IT products in terms of our compute, our Fusion server, and our Ocean storage product, and our Cloud Engine data center networking solutions are world-class. Very comprehensive portfolio of solutions from entry-level to high-end, meet the need for traditional enterprise data center as well as for the cloud. And on top of it, we also offer a complete software cloud stack from our cloud operating system, Fusion Sphere, to our big data platform, Fusion Insight, our Fusion Access VDI platform, and the newly available Fusion Cloud, which is a turnkey private cloud stack that has all the same components that we use in our public cloud deployment. So let me give you some examples on what they really means and some of the future direction that we are taking. Let's take compute, hardware, and infrastructure as an example. Today we offer world-class server based on Intel processor, the x86 architecture. Different form factor for different type of deployment scenario, very high-end mission-critical machines, as well as very unique hyper-converged infrastructure. And I will show you some examples later on. But as we move on to digital transformation, as we move on to cloud, as we see new use cases that needs to analyze tremendous amount of data, use of AI, IoT, and all these new type of use cases, we start realizing that we need to re-examine some of the basic fundamental assumptions when we design our compute infrastructure in the past. We try to look at it in 3 dimensions. One's in the area of the fundamental processing architecture. For many decades, we've been using a more homogeneous general-purpose compute devices. as we start seeing deep learning requiring hardware acceleration using FPGA or GPU as an example, and we start seeing the need for performance acceleration and offloading of different kind. And we envision that in the not too distant future, our peripheral devices, such as our storage, specifically our flash-based solid-state devices, as well as our networking components, such as our network interface card, will have embedded intelligence on their own, so they are no longer dumb peripheral devices. So we see we are evolving from a more centralized general-purpose compute architecture to a more distributed, heterogeneous ones. The second dimension that we try to re-examine how we build these solutions is what is a server, what is a box, right? We have been building monolithic boxes with fixed amount of computing components in there. Once you fix it, and it's fixed. When we go into cloud, the scale of the deployment is going to be massive. And the number and the type of new service that you're going to deploy on it are growing exponentially. So we run into this dilemma. Do we try to come up with optimized hardware configuration every time when you have a new application? That would be very expensive and very difficult to operate. Or you try to do what some of the large internet companies do, is to limit their hardware configuration into a handful of fixed configurations. But then many of your applications will be running suboptimally. So we need a more flexible, resource pool-oriented hardware architecture. So that redefine what a server box is going to look like from a monolithic hardware into a resource pool type of hardware architecture. Last but not least, a lot of this new application require massive compute capacity to be deployed outside of your data center, outside of the cloud, in the edge, right? On roadside, in the point of presence, in branch office, everywhere, right? So we need to have the hardware and software solutions to make this all work nicely across a broad spectrum of deployment environment. Some examples. Our Fusion Cube hyper-converged infrastructure. This is one example of a major healthcare organizations in Hong Kong. They have migrated majority of their businesses onto a hyper-converged infrastructure. Our Fusion Cube hyper-converged solutions is very unique in a number of ways. One is that it was developed for cloud scale to begin with. It can easily grow from a handful of nodes to hundreds, even thousands of nodes. Secondly, it has the performance and the characteristic that can run the most mission-critical applications on top of it. It's fully SAP HANA certified, it's Oracle validated, and we have customers running 80 plus terabyte of data warehousing, running the most mission-critical applications on HANA on our hyper-converged infrastructure, as an example. This is perhaps one of the largest, maybe the largest retailer in Europe, and they have deployed their SAP HANA solutions on our mission-critical Kunun-class systems that deliver the type of reliability and the scalability that is unique in its class. Our storage solutions are unique also. Not only that, it scales from very entry-level to very high-end, but the entire solutions is based on the same set of software and your software features and capabilities. So you have consistent features and capability across the entire family, and also between your on-premise data storage and to the cloud, offer very unique and consistent experience across the whole spectrum. Many of the very large enterprises around the world, including automotive manufacturers such as this one, deploy significant percentage of their storage on our platform. And one of the more important aspects of this particular installation is that they have committed significant hundreds of petabytes of their storage in our all-flash solutions. And our all-flash solution is also unique in a way that because from the devices, the SSD controller to the SSD device to the system to the storage software is all 100% Huawei. we can achieve the level of performance optimization that no other vendors can offer. Our hypermetro active solutions is also a critical part of our offering that can help our customers to start from a single deployment to multiple data center with very reliable capability. Last but not least, the examples that I'm showing here is our new Fusion Cloud Stack. It's based on the same hardware and software stack that we use on our public cloud. We repackage them into an appliance, into an architecture that can easily deploy in on-premise data center of many different sizes. Here are some examples of city-level governments building their cloud on our Fusion Cloud Stack globally, in Europe, in Asia, around the world, and I think this trend will continue. They recognize the maturity of our cloud stack and the scalability of it to start from small and to grow big. And on top of the cloud, artificial intelligence becoming an important use cases for cloud, and we call this enterprise intelligence. And on our public cloud, we offer the hardware component instances that you can construct your own, enterprise intelligence services, but we also offer turnkey solutions working with our partners who contribute their intellectual property and run their solutions on our public cloud. In the near future, we also envision that we are able to shift these solutions down from the public cloud to on-premise offline deployment. In addition to the turnkey platform, the hardware, and the management, we also help broker the intellectual property from third-party partners and make it easier for our end-user customer to deploy them and acquire them for on-premise deployment. We have use cases in energy, in terms of logistics, in transportations, actively using our enterprise intelligence service on our public cloud. And for our cloud property in China, we have our Huawei Enterprise Cloud. And internationally, we work with local telco and service provider and help them build the public cloud using 100% Huawei software and hardware stack. And today, thousands of customers around the world, including here in Russia, have now adopted Huawei IT solutions. And even this chart shows you some examples of the new customer that we acquired in 2017. Huawei is by far the fastest growing ICT solution provider with strong momentum, solid financial. We are a trustworthy and safe partner for you and your customer to build your future ICT environment. And here is the conclusion of my presentation. And I hope you enjoy what I've presented to you. And we have solutions that we showcase out there on the booth. And I will be available in the next couple of days, and I would be more than happy to talk to you and see how we can work together and build a better future for you and your customers. Thank you.
Дамы и господа, это был взгляд Huawei на наше счастливое цифровое будущее. Спасибо, Фрэнсис. У меня большая просьба ко всем гостям не покидать зал по возможности до завершения мероприятия. У нас остался финальный доклад вступительной пленарной части. И я попрошу своего коллегу, искусственный интеллект, представить нашего докладчика.
Мы живем в эру перемен. Мы живем в эру данных. Мы живем в эру знаний. Мы живем в эру интеллекта. Дамы и господа, встречайте директор по продажам облачных сервисов в регионе EMEA компании Intel, Предраг Якшич.
Good morning. Я добавлю, что рынок процессоров только кажется стабильным. На самом же деле здесь активнее, чем где-либо. Идут исследования, разработки, вывод на рынок новых и новых продуктов. Процессоры адаптируются под разные типы нагрузок, под машинное обучение, под облачные вычисления, под высокопроизводительные вычисления. Давайте узнаем об этом подробнее из доклада эксперта компании Intel. Пожалуйста.
Good morning. And it's still morning, and I hope I will finish in the morning, so I won't be too long between you and a coffee break. What I want to talk about is world of data and business transformation that it requires. So I'm really building on what my colleagues were talking about, and good thing is we are not going to confuse you. We are talking pretty much about the same thing. So data defines the future, and there's lots of data around us, and it's not just us generating data, it's things generating data more and more. Would you believe that 90% of the data today in the world was generated in the last 2 years? And you know, your phone is generating data, so I think my phone, yeah, it is. It's logging where we are, so it is generating data. And I could probably add to my data footprint by taking few photos. And I probably need to take selfies so everyone believes it was me. So where does it all come from? Over years, we always had data, but then we learned how to make CPUs virtualized, and then we learned how to put several applications on one server. Then we had good security, so we suddenly could put data in different data centers, and they were securely connected, stored in different places. We had good networking, and suddenly it was easy for companies to offer it as a service. So you didn't need to have data as a company in your data center. You could choose to partner with someone and store data somewhere else and process data somewhere else. So it led to big boom in data. But there is a risk. So you're a company, you have few servers, but I don't think there are many companies that have completely stable business. Sometimes business goes down, and I think walking around Moscow last night and seeing how many people are sitting in cafes and eating dinners, I don't think there was too much happening on internet last night. But I'm sure when the rain starts and when it gets cold, people are not going to sit outside in cafe, and they might spend their time on internet. So all those companies that are working on internet, they might see a spike in their business. You had few good spikes in last few years. So Olympics put a lot of pressure on infrastructure. You had football championship. Suddenly, there were millions of people that were accessing the information, that wanted the services. And if you're a company, you can decide either to make your infrastructure aligned with your run rate business, and then when the spike comes, you're out of business because your servers are down, and bad luck for you. You can start them again when the championship is over. Or you can make different decision and think about the spike and set up your infrastructure for the best case scenario when the business is booming. But what do you do when championship is over? You'll probably still have to pay for it, and you might again be out of business because you overinvested. And cloud offers perfect answer. You can have infrastructure in-house for your run rate business, but if you see any new opportunities, new spikes, you can flexibly, easily, and very fast go to cloud, and your customers will just experience great service. If I take my example, I booked my flight over internet. I checked in over internet. I got out of the airport here and with my phone got a taxi and got to the hotel. And it doesn't matter whether those people speak English. It doesn't matter whether I speak Russian or not. It all worked, and I got to the hotel. And if I was hungry, I could book a restaurant or order pizza delivery to my hotel. So let me tell you a story from yesterday, because I think that quite described well what I'm going to talk about next. I booked taxi on the phone, of course, and taxi was there on time. The driver spoke very good Russian. He didn't speak any English, but that was okay. I didn't have to explain where I'm going because he knew that. And he had screen in front of him showing him where to go. So all perfect until we were approaching the fork in road where the road goes in 3 directions. And he wasn't sure what the app is showing him. So he turned to me and in his perfect Russian asked me which way to take. And I gave him perfect answer, like this. So he took one turn, and it turned out not to be the right one. So consequently, within the next 2 minutes, I learned few Russian swear words that my Russian colleagues suggested I don't repeat here and practice. And they said we can do it in the evening. But what I'm trying to say, even for a person whose job is driving taxi in Moscow, and who knows Moscow, who knows environment, even he makes mistakes. And it's very difficult in lots of traffic, roads being closed, roads forking in different directions to make a decision fast. And now we are expecting one day to sit in a car where there will be no driver, and that car should take us safely to where we want. Or maybe not even us, but our children. Our children have football match. Why do you need to drive them there when your car can? That might be future one day, but there is a lot we need to do to make that work properly. So, car is to be a huge generator of data. It is already today, but self-driving car will be a huge generator of data, and some of the data will have to be processed in car, some of the data will have to be processed in cloud, and some of that information, or maybe a lot of that information, will have to be shared between the cars seamlessly. So that's the challenge. If you look at, I added a little bit to my digital footprint by taking those photos. Average user by 2020 will probably generate about 1.5 gigabytes of data. And it might be photos you take, videos, sounds. It might be you walking past a CCTV camera somewhere and the information being stored. But we moved to smart hospital, and suddenly it's 3 terabytes. We believe that car will generate 4 terabytes of data. And can you imagine, self-driving car with a big trailer behind with a big data center to process all that data? That's not the way it will work. So some of the data will be processed in a car, but lots of the data will be processed in the cloud. And then we go to airplane, which is 40 terabyte data. And when we start talking about big factories, it's a petabyte of data a day. So what I'm trying to say, we've seen huge growth in data, and I'm sure we will see even faster growth of data. And there is this nice number that IDC suggested. By 2025, there will be 163 zettabytes of data in the world. I don't know if you can imagine. I should have put that number with all the zeros on a slide, but I wouldn't manage to put anything else there. But important thing is, so data will grow 10 times, but IoT, so Internet of Things data, is expected to grow 17 times, and real-time IoT data will grow about 40 times. So that means that connectivity and secure connectivity is going to be more and more important. Going back to that car, I would want my car to have good vision, probably better than my taxi driver yesterday. So he probably didn't see it on his screen, which turn to take. I would hope my car will have better vision and hearing and all the senses important for driving safely. There's need for some edge computing, so you need to process something on the car itself. But what we need is good cloud with artificial intelligence to process all the information and help the car take you safely where you want. So what it really means is, we might think about cloud as, data center somewhere. We don't necessarily care where it is. We just hope that it will work and it will be stable and it will store the information safely. But it's all our devices and things and ourselves that generate the data. And in between, there is this access and edge processing core, and those connections between those parts are becoming more and more important because you would want your car to take you to a place where you want to go, not to a place where a hacker might think it would be fun to take you. We at Intel did some exercise and tried to figure out how big is that opportunity? How big is that market? And in 2017, we looked at total available market, and it's not just processing power in data center. It's also about memory. It's about Internet of Things and automated driving. It's FPGA, so specific chips that do things that you want them to do. And we came to a number that is over $160 billion, which is a great opportunity. And if we are successful in tapping into that, that's great. And I think it's a great opportunity for all of you. And I want to say, I see Russian market as being a little bit specific. You have good growth, but you also have specific market, specific language, legislation that doesn't make it easy for big cloud service providers just to enter tomorrow and start offering service. So for you, for companies that are working locally, that know that legislation perfectly, that's opportunity, because you are not going to see, I live in UK, so all the big guys are in UK, and for the local guys, it's quite difficult to become number 1, 2, or 3 in the country. Looking at China, we see local companies are booming and growing, and they are taking the biggest chunk of this share. So I hope we will be working together, and you will see Intel supporting your growth, and you will benefit from growth of cloud in Russia. But back to these numbers, I have to say we got it wrong. So when we did recalculate these numbers, we realized we got it wrong in every place. And now we think it's over 200 billion. And I'm pretty sure when we do the same exercise in a year or two, we might come up with a different number. And I doubt that different number will be lower than this. So why is it an opportunity for Intel? We have less than 30% of this business. So we have great opportunity to grow. That market is growing very fast, and it will be offering lots and lots of opportunities, and it offers lots of opportunities to you. So what is Intel doing about it? We are more and more focused. If you look at Intel over years, when there were times when we were talking a lot about desktop computer, then we moved to mobile computer, we started to talk a little bit about servers. We are today really data-centric company, and we will be more and more data-centric company. And what we do in that area is, yeah, of course, you hopefully know Intel sells processors, which we still do, but we are focusing on the other bits of pieces of data center as well. So storage, you want to store more, you want to be able to access it faster, you want it to be more secure. And we invested in Optane DC technology. And actually, today, we have 3 presentations given by Intel during the event. One of them is focused on Optane DC. So if you want to learn more about the technology, please check the presentation. We also have a presentation on artificial intelligence and a presentation on software. But then if you have great processing power, you have great storage, you're still missing a piece, and that's moving things faster between computers and between processor and storage. We believe today, out of all those data that is available, probably only about 1% is being processed, analyzed, and acted upon. So you might upload your photos to the cloud, but that's it. That's what happens with that. Some information is stored from CCTV cameras on the street. It's not processed real time. Police might come back to it 2 weeks later if they realize something happened and they need to check who is moving around. But that number has to grow. And there is opportunity for all of us in increasing that percentage from 1% to something bigger. Previous speakers mentioned ecosystem, so ecosystem is important. So if you just received bits and pieces from Intel, it wouldn't be as helpful as if there is broad ecosystem support and if our partners work together with us, implement those new technologies. And this is example of ecosystem support for Optane DC, but we are, I think, quite good at providing our technologies and our solutions to our partners very early and helping them bring it to the market. I'm not going to spend too much time on 2 bits of one of my previous slides. So you can learn more about storage later today in one of the presentations. I mentioned moving things faster. And if you want to talk to myself or any of my colleagues, we have a booth outside, so please ask the questions. We will be happy to talk to you. But I want to spend a little bit more time talking about one bit, and that's the processing. Because today, or this year, we have 20th anniversary of Intel Xeon processor. And while we are very good at taking names from the map and coming up with new code names for processors, we don't just do that, and we don't just make every processor faster and more efficient. We also focus on some new technologies. So you can see years ago, we had this great thing of dual socket support, so suddenly you could have server with 2 processors instead of 1. I mentioned virtualization at the beginning of my presentation. Today, it's all about big data, artificial intelligence, HPC, and we will keep that going. So with our latest processor that is coming out before end of the year, codenamed Cascade Lake, it again brings lots of new features and improvements, but I want to mention just two specifically. So it's support for Optane DC, so that work with storage will be faster, more efficient, safer. But it also has specific AI instructions. So compared to our previous processor that you use today, that we launched last year, specific AI workloads will be up to 11 times faster. And going forward, you will see Intel with future processor after Cascade Lake, you will see, again, much faster jump in performance, specifically in artificial intelligence. Because we really want to make those self-driving cars possible. I want to mention here, I talked about ecosystem. We do have Intel Select Solutions. So again, it's not just about bag of chips and that we provide to our partners. We work with them on developing and offering solutions, primarily in private cloud, analytics, HPC, artificial intelligence. So if you want to find out more, you can talk to MERLION as well about this, because they are, of course, one of the partners involved in Intel Select Solutions. So what's Intel's differentiation? We started here many, many years ago, and we are still, at least we believe, and that's what we hear from our partners, we are quite good at making transistor, but that's not enough in today's world. We could have made breakthrough in late 60s and beginning of 70s just by making transistors switch faster and faster. And of course, you need to package it as well, so some other people can use it. But we keep developing architecture. We keep investing in developing memories. And I mentioned already interconnect. If you have great processor and great and fast memory or storage, and the pipe between those two is very slow, is not very good. So if we want to make the whole ecosystem tick and work, we need to focus on interconnects. Security is more and more important, and it will be more and more the more data is in the cloud. So we offer that, and of course, software and solutions. So, well, there are companies, and there are probably many companies that would offer you one of those pieces. There are not that many companies that can come to you and say, we offer the whole solution and portfolio. So I touched on this. Cloud is expanding total available market. It's not just that things that have been done in your own data center are suddenly moving to cloud, so the market is not growing. We see over the last few years significant growth of market because the in-house data center is steady or declining slowly, but cloud is booming. So it's not just shifting workloads from one place to another. It's all about those new workloads and new opportunities that are enabled by this. So, you can see 67% is the growth of market thanks to the cloud over the last few years. There are different numbers between 23 to 27 year-on-year growth expected, but it's definitely going to grow. So cloud is everywhere. I mentioned a few examples from here. In Moscow, the easiest way to get a taxi is using your mobile phone app. The easy way to book restaurant or hotel or plane is on the phone. You can order your food over cloud, and there will be more and more things you can do using cloud. And I will repeat again, I see Russian market as growing faster than some other markets, but also it's market that is not that easy for someone from outside just to come in and grab the piece of the market. So that's opportunity for you. So in summary, it's data center world, and it will be data center world. Whether you believe our number of 160 billion or 200 billion, or whether we are wrong again and we will say next year it's 250 billion, it's a huge number, it's growing, and it's opportunity for all of us. And we believe that Intel has lots of solutions and products that can offer to make that cloud successful. So, ja zakończę jak w nowościach, prognozą pogody. Завтра облачность повышения. Одевайтесь по погоде. Спасибо.
Спасибо. Спасибо. Спасибо, Предрак.